Hi, this is Paul Gilstone, and today we're going to learn how to iron a shirt. So for those of you guys that don't want to go to work or don't want to go out or don't want to go to church and look like you just pulled your shirt out from the laundry bin or out of the bottom of the dirty laundry pile, you should watch this video, okay? So we're going to show two different types of the way to iron your shirt. One is a full iron job, and the next one we're going to be doing is called the bachelor's ironing job. Right today we're going to get into, first we're going to show a full ironing job. Now it's important that you take your clothes out of the dryer as soon as they come out of the dryer and put them up on a hanger, because then it makes it easier for you to iron them. If you happen to throw it in the laundry basket after it comes out of the dryer, you're just going to have make a lot more work for yourself because it'll be really wrinkly. Now, on your iron, you have a few different settings. Just look at the fabric setting that is on your iron. Most irons have, all irons have that. And what I like to do is I like to use distilled water or at least bottled water in my iron when I steam my and press my clothes. If you use well water, or if you use, any water that's going to have, any type of minerals in it, it's going to plug your iron up, and then it'll cause your iron to also stick to the shirt. So we'll get right to the point here, okay? So what we have here is we have your basic button-up dress shirt. So what we do is we start by taking this, and you have a seam coming along right here underneath the armpit, okay? And what we want to do is we want to spread this out, okay, like so. And now with 100% cottons, you can use spray starch. But for most of the fabrics today, they're a 60-40 blend of cotton and polyester or whatever the heck they're making in Vietnam or China, or nowadays. Everything used to be made in the United States. Now it's made everywhere else. But at any rate, we'll talk about that topic another time. So what I'm doing right now is I'm basically pressing the shirt, and you can see the steam that's coming out. Now, on some irons, they have a button where you can actually, if you get a hard spot where it needs to be pressed, you can actually press there. It'll spray a little water out and basically iron itself. So it's very important, especially in today's business world. You need to dress for success, guys. I'm sick and tired of going everywhere, seeing everybody with a wrinkled shirt. Didn't your mom or dad show you how to do this when you were growing up? Or were you a rich kid and you just had it done? Well, if you're like me and you're not a rich kid, you do it yourself. And actually, you can do this with practice better than if you took it to the cleaner. It just takes a little bit of time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to iron what's called the yoke right now. So we're ironing the yoke carefully to get everything out here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the front of the shirt where your buttons go in. It's very important to have this ironed and looking right, because that's what everybody sees. When they first walk up to you, they're going to see that. And if it looks like a wrinkled mess, really it just makes you look immature, in my opinion. It makes you look like you just pulled it out of the dirty laundry. What stage of dirty laundry did you have? There is actually a couple different stages of dirty laundry, okay? You have the first stage, which is when you wore the shirt the day before, maybe only for a couple hours, and you can reuse it. Then there's the second stage of dirty laundry, where you basically have worn the shirt for the whole day. You have no more shirts for the next day, and you're in a hurry, so you wear that, which is pretty disgusting. And then the third stage of dirty laundry is the dirty laundry that's sat at the bottom of the pile for God knows how long. It's wrinkled. You throw it on, and you go to work, or you go out, or any place you go in public. People look at you, and they think you're a jerk because you look immature because you don't have an iron shirt. At any rate, that should be like that. Nice, straight, no wrinkles. So that's the front of our shirt. Okay, the back of our shirt, on a lot of these dress shirts, they're going to have right behind the neck, okay, and here's another important piece. Right behind the neck, you have, if you can see this, you have this piece of fabric that comes down, okay? There's a reason for that. That's called a fitted shirt, all right? And with a fitted shirt, that's supposed to be ironed and have a crease in it, okay? So you don't look like a jerk, all right? What you can do is simply go like this. And I'm only kidding when I say you look like a jerk. Look, if anybody out there, okay, has never been taught to iron, okay, I feel for you, all right? Because somebody taught me, and that's my mom. When I was 12 years old, she says, come on, I need to show you something. She showed me how to run the washer and dryer. And she says, someday you'll be a grown man and you're going to need to know how to do this and look good. So dress for success with Paul Gilstone. So what we do is we have the back here. Okay, cameraman, if you can zoom up a little bit and see this a little bit here. All right. Basically, this is supposed to be pressed. So we do that by pulling the shirt this way, pulling the shirt that way. Okay. And basically what we do is we take this and we press it. Now, if you go to answer your phone or something like that, and you leave this iron on your shirt, and I do have to say this because even though it does seem like common sense, you can't leave this sitting on your shirt, or you can A, start a fire, or B, really burn your shirt. And then you can, you know, if you wear polyester or something synthetic, all right, it's going to be burned all over your iron. Okay, so the back of that now should look like so. All right, see how we have a nice pressed center. Okay, so basically you take the rest of the shirt. What I like to do, okay, and I didn't do it in this demonstration, okay, is I like to work from this side all the way over because it's just simpler. So normally I wouldn't iron that first, but you can if you want. So we spread the shirt out again. Now you need to make sure that the shirt is spread out, because if it's not spread out, you're going to basically wrinkle wrinkles. So it's almost like frosting a cake, really. Okay, now when you're ironing this part, if you've done that center fitted part, you want to stay a little bit away from it, because otherwise you can iron that out. All right, and then down along here on these, where the seam comes from the back to the front, it's important that you actually start at the end. I pull on this and basically roll it like that, okay? And so, like so. And basically, you kind of get the idea, all right? You keep going around the shirt. Now, the other thing that is important is your yoke, okay? This is called a yoke. Right here, this top part that sits underneath what's called a collar. In case some of you don't know, if everybody's worn t-shirts their whole lives, they don't know that. But you want to have the yoke of the shirt also done. And the way that we do that on the back portion is we basically just take the shirt like this. And here again, anytime where you have a seam, you're going to want to make sure you pull it over like so. So I'm grabbing this, I'm pulling it, and at the same time I'm pushing down with the iron. What it does is it stretches the fabric out a little bit, okay? And so you can kind of get, camera guy, roll up a little bit. See how nice and smooth and clean that is, okay? That's crisp looking. Now look at the part that I haven't ironed, right, camera guy? All right, so right there, it looks wrinkled. Okay, so if you look at the back of this shirt, all right, and actually I'm going to try this on for you. Try this on for size, okay? So look at the back of my shirt. You see one half of it, okay, which is this half over here, okay? I look all nice and pressed. This half over here, now I'm not so pressed. I look like some guy that just pulled his shirt out of the laundry machine, okay, out of the dryer. And I'd much rather look like this than like this. So, continue on, okay, not to waste your time, because I try to be short and sweet. I could take all day and show you how to do these shirts. Next, we have the collar, okay? So the collar, we basically we place down here, okay? The collar is one of the most important parts, okay? That goes right around your neck, okay? People notice that first. There's nothing better than a good, crisp collar, Okay, and I'm not using spray starch with this application, but we'll get into using spray starch another time. This is just your basic iron job. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking the iron and I'm running along the top of the seam. This is the part that goes around your neck. I'm running it right along the top of the seam so I can get it nice and crisp. So I'm going to do half of this and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So, and here again, I'm pulling at the same time that I'm ironing. So I'm stretching the fabric out. It's getting the wrinkles out. Okay. And so we'll do half of this. So now you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, but the left-hand side of the collar, which would be your right, is much prettier than this side of the collar. This is all nice and pressed. This is kind of wrinkly looking, which if you're in a hurry, a lot of the fabrics nowadays you can just throw in, to the dryer and wear them. But if you want to separate the difference between yourself and other people, especially in the workplace, there's been plenty of times I'll throw on, a shirt, just go out and cut wood or something like that. My buddies I'm cutting wood, they could care less. But especially when you're in the workforce, dress for success. There's a book about that. You can Google it. Okay. So, but dressing for success, you have to either pay to have your shirts pressed or you can press them yourselves. It runs between anywhere from $2.50 to $5 per shirt. So, in just a matter of less than 5 minutes, you can save yourself about $5 and do a better job than the guy at the Chinese laundromat. So now basically we've done the front of the shirt, okay? We've done where the buttons go in, okay? Which is all nice and pressed. Make sure that your pocket's all nice and done. Now, next we're going to move to the sleeves. And the sleeves are also extremely important, okay? So with the sleeves you have this area right under here. There's a seam. And what I like to do is I like to take the seam where it's attached to the shirt. We won't get too technical here, okay? And I take that seam where it overlaps, okay? So you have the fabric that comes around this way, and then it's sewn into the front part of the shirt over here. So I like to have the fabric basically down like that, okay, if you could understand that. And there's a couple areas that are real important on the shirt. Number one, you have the crease that goes all the way down the side, and then at the bottom you have pleats. On a lot of shirts they'll have pleats. This is a pleated armed shirt right here, and then you have your bottom of your shirt, which comes down by your wrist. Okay, so here again, what I'm doing is I'm kind of tapering across. I'm just kind of slowly going like this, kind of like frosting a cake, okay, just like so. And then under the arm, now you have to be careful because sometimes with some deodorants, with white shirts, you can get staining after a while. So sometimes, if you notice that you're getting a yellowish area down through here, it's because the deodorant on your shirt, when it reacts with the heat, will cause that to yellow. So I have a nice pressed portion of the shirt here, okay? And then what you can do if you really want to be a freak about it, which I am when I do my shirts, now that you've done this side, you can flip it over, okay? Make sure you hold your crease, okay? And then basically do the other side.
Got some water spillage.
Okay, water spillage is okay. Anyways, so you do both sides. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but here you have a nice crisp line right there, okay? All right, now, when you go to do this part right here, the pleated portions down by the end of your arm and your wrist, you're going to need this side of the iron, the smaller part over here, okay? And basically what you do is you have to pull the fabric so that you are getting it towards or close to where the factory seam was. Now, a lot of this stuff that's made overseas, I don't know if they know how to iron or if they're just in a hurry, but sometimes you have to reset the factory folds, which is okay. I've done that a million times. So, pressing that, then when I'm doing this, I'm actually going to do the cuff of the sleeve. This is very important, especially with suits, because that's going to stick out. Okay, and here again, I can't stress enough that what you need to do is you need to dress for success. People in America today, I don't know what's wrong with them. You know, I've been at jobs where, I'll walk into a place, I got a winter job that I do because I do own my own business. It's very seasonal. And I'm walking into an entry-level job that I'm doing in the wintertime just to keep busy. Everyone thinks I'm the store manager or a manager, and it's because I dress for success. I take pride in the way I look, and I take pride, and you should too. And it makes a big difference. So basically have your sleeve, the top part here. Normally I would iron it all the way down, but I'm just doing this to show you. Now, so that basically completes the ironing of your shirt. So we did the collar, we did the front part of the shirt over here on this side. Okay, I showed you how to do the yoke. I showed you how to do the sleeve, although I didn't iron the whole sleeve for time purposes. I showed you how to do the pleats down here, and I showed you how to do the this part down here that goes onto your wrist. Now there is what they call a bachelor ironing job. The bachelor ironing job, okay, you would basically go through and complete this shirt, okay. Oh, and one thing I forgot is underneath the yoke in the back, it's very important that this is pressed too, okay. So I may be a little redundant, but it is what it is. So, but the bachelor iron is something that you can do very quickly. Let's say your alarm doesn't go off, or let's say you went out the night before and you're late for work, but you still want to look halfway decent. You don't want to look like you were up all night, okay? So you do what's called the bachelor iron job. And the reason why they call it the bachelor iron job is because a bachelor doesn't have a wife who traditionally would press their shirts back when I was young. You whippersnappers, okay. Women don't press shirts anymore, okay. Everything's sent to the laundry. But if you're a bachelor, it's important that you look good still. So the bachelor ironing job, basically what you're going to do, you're going to do a quick job on the collar. You're going to do a quick job on the front of the shirt, on both sides. Forget the back, forget the sleeves. As long as you're wearing a suit jacket. If you go to take this off in the middle of the day and you don't have a suit jacket on, the bachelor thing is going to look like you just did have your shirt. So really, it's as quick as this. Here's a bachelor ironing job. I'll show you this, okay? I'm in a hurry. I'm late for work. Whatever I did the night before. Maybe I just didn't prepare, okay? So what I'm doing, boom, go like this. I got the front of the shirt. I know I'm going to have either a jacket or I'm going to have a suit jacket on, okay? So I'm doing it about this quick, okay? Boom, 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 boom. Don't have to worry about the yoke. The yoke isn't going to show, okay? So basically we do both sides like this really quick. The bachelor ironing job, okay? Boom, boom, boom. And I'm smoothing things out with my hands before I do it with the iron so you don't get any wrinkles in, okay? I'm looking at the clock. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be late. Oh boy, I don't want to get written up. Oh boy, I don't want to walk into that meeting late. So the bachelor ironing job, if you're doing a suit, works just fine, okay? And then when you get around by the buttons here real quick, keep looking at the clock over there. Go in between your buttons, 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 in between your buttons. That almost sounds bad. At any rate, so in between the buttons, okay? Then what we do is we've done both sides. We're going to do the collar really quick, okay? Forget about this seam up here. We're just going over it, the whole thing, okay? And that's your bachelor ironing job. You throw your shirt on like so. You're about ready to run out the door. You you're looking at your watch, your cell phone, the wall clock, whatever the heck it is you do, okay? And then you're ready because the bachelor ironing job is done. You button up your shirt, okay? You have a nice pressed, clean shirt. So if you have that suit on, boom, this looks good. This looks good. And I like to do this part of the shirt too. Okay, that's the bachelor ironing job. Thanks again, folks, for tuning in to Paul Gilstone. And next, we're going to do pants. See ya.